I'm Miranda Wilson, 29, working 60-hour weeks as a financial advisor in Chicago while trying to maintain some semblance of sanity. I've always been the responsible one, saving and investing since my first job at 16. My sister Brittany, on the other hand, at 22 has never held a job longer than 3 months. My parents still pay her bills while I'm completely self-sufficient. Little did I know they were using my exclusive resort membership behind my back. I discovered the betrayal when vacation photos appeared on Instagram. Before I dive into how this family drama unfolded, I'd love to know where you're watching from today. Drop your location in the comments below, and if you enjoy family drama stories like this one, hit that like button and subscribe to see more content like this. Now, let's get back to how I discovered my family's secret vacation on my dime. Growing up, I watched my parents Patricia and Robert Wilson struggle financially. Dad worked as a mid-level sales manager while Mom picked up part-time retail shifts. Every month was a juggling act of which bills could wait and which ones couldn't. I started working at 16, not for pocket money like my friends, but to help with groceries and utilities. By the time my sister Brittany came along when I was 7, I was already the responsible one. That dynamic never changed. While I got scholarships and worked through college, my parents somehow always found money for Brittany's dance classes, cheerleading camps, and later, her semester abroad that she dropped out of halfway through. Miranda always lands on her feet, my mother would say, as if my stability was some inborn trait rather than the result of constant hard work and sacrifice. Brittany needs more support. After graduating with my finance degree, I worked my way up at Meridian Financial Group. While my colleagues complained about student loans, I'd already paid mine off by taking extra clients and living with 3 roommates in a cramped apartment. At 29, I finally allowed myself one significant luxury, a premium membership at Serenity Shores Resort Collection, an exclusive chain of luxury resorts across the Caribbean and Mexico. The membership cost $12,000 annually, plus fees for actual stays, but it guaranteed premium accommodations, special treatment, and access to properties that were otherwise booked years in advance. I justified this extravagance as my one self-care splurge after years of saving and investing wisely. "You can't take my membership card," I explicitly told my parents when they visited my new condo last spring and spotted the distinctive black card on my desk. "It's registered only to me, and it's not transferable. Plus, there are substantial fees for each stay." "We wouldn't dream of it," my mother had said, though I noticed her lingering look at the resort brochure. "We could never afford something so fancy anyway." That winter had been particularly brutal in Chicago. Between the polar vortex bringing record low temperatures and my recent promotion to senior advisor, which meant onboarding several high-maintenance clients, I was desperately looking forward to using my membership for a week of sunshine and relaxation. I had already put in for vacation time in February, planning to escape to the Serenity Shores property in Cabo San Lucas. I should have known something was off when my parents stopped complaining about money for a few weeks. Usually, there was always some crisis. The furnace needed replacing, property taxes had gone up, or Brittany needed money for some emergency. The sudden silence should have been my first clue that something wasn't right. It was a Tuesday evening in January when I logged into my Serenity Shores account to finalize some details for my upcoming vacation. I nearly spilled my glass of Cabernet when I saw the account activity. Current stay, Serenity Shores Cancun, Premier Ocean Suite, guests, Robert Wilson, Patricia Wilson, Brittany Wilson. "This must be a mistake," I muttered, immediately calling the membership services number. "Thank you for calling Serenity Shores Elite Member Services. How may I assist you today, Ms. Wilson?" The representative named Alicia answered. "There seems to be some error on my account. It's showing that there are people staying at the Cancun property under my membership, but I'm sitting in my apartment in Chicago right now." "Let me look into that for you," she said. After a few moments of keyboard clicking, she continued, "Yes, I can confirm that your membership is currently being used for a stay in Cancun. The guests checked in 3 days ago and are booked for a total of 14 nights in the Premier Ocean Suite." They presented the membership card upon arrival. My stomach dropped. "That's impossible. I have my card right here." I grabbed my wallet, only to find the slot where I kept my Serenity Shores card empty. The guests identified themselves as your parents and sister, and they had the physical card and the correct PIN number. Is this not authorized? Absolutely not authorized, I said, my voice rising. I never gave permission for anyone to use my membership. After hanging up with Serenity Shores, I immediately opened Instagram. Sure enough, Brittany had posted several photos, lounging by an infinity pool with the distinctive Serenity Shores cabanas in the background, holding a champagne flute with our parents at a beachfront restaurant I recognized from the resort brochure, posing in the massive marble shower of what could only be the premier ocean suite. The caption on her latest post read, "Living the dream life I deserve. 2 weeks of pure luxury. Hashtag blessed, hashtag family vacation, hashtag no filter needed." My hands shook as I called my mother's cell phone. Straight to voicemail. My father's phone rang several times before also going to voicemail. I texted both of them. Call me immediately about the unauthorized use of my resort membership. No response. I then called Brittany, who predictably didn't answer either. I left a terse voicemail. "I know you're at Serenity Shores on my membership. Call me back now." While waiting for any of them to respond, I scrolled through more social media posts. There was my father getting a massage at the resort spa, my mother taking a cooking class with a celebrity chef, Brittany tagging herself at the resort's exclusive nightclub with a caption, "VIP treatment only. The staff here treats us like royalty because of our premium membership status." Our premium membership status. As if she had contributed a single penny to it. When I first got the membership last year, I had thoroughly researched all the benefits and limitations. The contract explicitly stated that the membership was individual, not family-based, though the member could bring guests at additional charges. I had specifically chosen this resort chain because of their exclusivity and the fact that they strictly limited the number of memberships. Your parents haven't changed. My therapist, Dr. Eleanor, had told me just last month when I mentioned how they still expected me to help with Brittany's expenses despite my sister being a fully grown adult. You need to establish and maintain firm boundaries, Miranda. Financial boundaries are just as important as emotional ones. I hadn't listened. I'd kept making excuses for them, kept trying to be the responsible one, the good daughter. And this was how they repaid me. My phone rang and I pounced on it, expecting it to be one of my family members. Instead, it was my best friend Samantha. "You will not believe what my family has done now," I said without preamble. "Hit me," she replied. After I explained the situation, Sam didn't sound surprised. "Remember when they borrowed your credit card to buy Brittany's prom dress? Or when they used your first tax refund to fix their car? This is just the same behavior on a larger scale, Miranda. You need to put your foot down." But what exactly am I supposed to do? They're already there, using my membership. "You cancel it," Sam said simply. "They stole from you. Again. They're taking advantage of your success instead of celebrating it. Cancel the membership and let them deal with the consequences of their actions." After we hung up, I checked my credit card statement online. In addition to the resort stay itself, there were charges from the spa, multiple restaurants, the gift shop, and even the excursion desk. They had already racked up over $4,000 in additional charges beyond the cost of the room, which itself was being covered by my annual membership fees. The final straw came when I remembered a conversation with my parents just 3 weeks ago. They had called asking if they could borrow $800 because their furnace needed repairs. "We're completely tapped out," my mother had said. "And it's freezing here. We wouldn't ask if it wasn't an emergency." I'd sent them $1,000, telling them to keep the extra for any other unexpected expenses. Now I realized they had probably used that money for airfare to Cancun, while planning to charge everything else to my account. That night, I barely slept. Part of me wanted to immediately call the resort and cancel everything, but another part felt the crushing weight of family obligation. These were my parents, after all. The people who had raised me, who had done their best with what they had. And Brittany, for all her flaws, was my only sister. But had they really done their best? As I stared at my ceiling, memories flooded back. My father buying a new fishing boat the same month they told me they couldn't contribute anything to my college tuition. My mother getting monthly salon treatments while telling me we couldn't afford new school clothes. Brittany getting a car for her 16th birthday while I had taken the bus until I could save up for my own vehicle at 19. I had always been the family bank, the responsible one they could rely on in a crisis. But this wasn't a crisis. This was a planned, deliberate betrayal. The next morning, I called my Aunt Virginia, my mother's sister, and the only relative who had ever acknowledged the family's unequal treatment of me and Brittany. "I'm not surprised," Aunt Virginia sighed after I explained the situation. "Your mother has always had expensive tastes with no concept of how to actually pay for them. And your father enables her completely. But stealing my membership card? Planning this whole vacation behind my back? Miranda, honey, they don't see it as stealing. In their minds, you're successful. You can afford it, so why shouldn't they benefit too? They've convinced themselves they deserve it after all they've done for you." All they've done for me? I couldn't keep the bitterness from my voice. I've been financially independent since I was 18. I put myself through college. I've bailed them out of financial troubles more times than I can count. I know, sweetheart. But that's not how they remember it. In their version, every sacrifice was theirs, and every success of yours is somehow their achievement too. After talking with Aunt Virginia, I called the resort directly and asked to speak with the property manager. After being transferred twice, I found myself speaking with Marcus Trent, the general manager of Serenity Shores Cancun. "Ms. Wilson, I understand your concern," he said after I explained that my family was using my membership without permission. However, they did present the physical membership card and knew the PIN number. "Our staff followed standard protocol." "I understand that, Mr. Trent. I'm not blaming your staff. But now that you know the situation, what are my options?" "Well, you could authorize the stay retroactively, in which case everything would proceed as normal. Or, as the membership holder, you have the right to cancel your membership at any time, which would automatically terminate any active stays." "If I cancel, what happens to my family currently staying there?" "They would be informed that the membership has been canceled and would need to either depart the property or convert to a standard guest rate, which is significantly higher than the member rate. For the Premier Ocean Suite, the standard rate is approximately $1,200 per night, plus resort fees and taxes." I knew my parents couldn't afford that. Their combined income was barely $60,000 a year, and they were already in debt. "One more question, Mr. Trent. Have they claimed to be me or implied in any way that they are the actual membership holders rather than guests?" There was a pause. "I'll need to check with front desk staff and review notes, but I believe there may have been some ambiguity in how they presented themselves. Your sister, in particular, has been using member privileges as if she were the primary account holder." After hanging up, I sat at my kitchen table, weighing my options. If I authorized the stay retroactively, I'd be out thousands of dollars and, worse, I'd be sending the message that what they did was acceptable. If I canceled the membership, they'd be humiliated and possibly stranded in Mexico. I decided to gather more information before making my final decision. I called the resort's billing department and requested an itemized list of all charges so far. The representative emailed it to me within minutes. The list made my blood boil. Spa treatments, jet ski rentals, private dinners on the beach, premium wine tastings, shopping at the resort's high-end boutiques. The total charges in just 3 days came to $6,843.52, and they had 11 more days to go. The most infuriating charge was from that very morning, a $1,500 upgrade to the Presidential Ocean View Suite, with the note, "Member requested upgrade due to dissatisfaction with current accommodations." I was still staring at the itemized bill when my coworker Catherine knocked on my office door. "Everything okay? You look like you're about to murder someone," she said, setting a coffee on my desk. After I explained the situation, Catherine nodded sympathetically. "My brother did something similar with my timeshare in Aspen. Used it without asking, invited all his friends, trashed the place, and I got stuck with the bill and the damages." "What did you do?" I asked. "I cut him off completely for 6 months. No contact, no help with anything. When he finally reached out, I made it crystal clear that if he ever pulled something like that again, he'd be out of my life for good." She shrugged. Family is important, but respect has to go both ways. By lunchtime, I had made my decision. I called my financial advisor, Ethan Porter, to discuss the implications of canceling my resort membership. You'll forfeit the remaining months of your annual fee, he confirmed. But given the additional charges they're racking up, that might be the lesser financial hit. And there's nothing preventing you from joining again in the future if you want to. Even if I cause a scene by canceling while family members are there? It's a business, Miranda. They care about discretion and maintaining their exclusive image, but they also understand that membership holders have rights. If someone is abusing your membership, you have every right to cancel it. That evening, I drafted a message to my family explaining that I knew what they had done, that it was unacceptable, and that they had 24 hours to check out of the resort before I canceled my membership. I didn't send it yet, wanting to sleep on such a consequential decision. Meanwhile, Brittany posted another photo, her and my parents in what was clearly the upgraded presidential suite, champagne glasses in hand with the caption, "Upgraded again." The staff knows quality when they see it. Living like the elite because we are the elite. #blessed, #luxury lifestyle, #deserved it. That was the final straw. I deleted my draft message and instead began researching exactly how to cancel my membership for maximum impact. The next morning, I called the Serenity Shores corporate membership office as soon as they opened. Serenity Shores Elite Membership Office. This is Jonathan Blackwell, Director of Membership Services. How may I assist you today? Good morning, Mr. Blackwell. This is Miranda Wilson, membership number SW72941. I need to cancel my membership immediately. I'm sorry to hear that, Ms. Wilson. May I ask the reason for cancellation? Perhaps there's something we can do to address any concerns you might have. My membership has been stolen and is being used fraudulently, I said firmly. My family took my membership card without permission and is currently staying at your Cancun property, charging thousands of dollars to my account. I see. His tone shifted to concern. That's a serious matter. Have you spoken with the property manager? Yes, I spoke with Marcus Trent yesterday. He confirmed that my options are either to authorize the stay retroactively or cancel my membership. That's correct. Given the circumstances, we can expedite the cancellation process. Normally, there's a 30-day processing period, but in cases of unauthorized use, we can process it immediately. That's what I want, I confirmed. And I want all pending charges reversed. For charges already incurred, you'll need to dispute those separately with your credit card company as potentially fraudulent charges. But we can certainly prevent any new charges from being applied. He paused. Ms. Wilson, you should be aware that if you proceed with immediate cancellation, the current guests using your membership will be notified by resort security and required to either pay the standard rate or vacate the property. I understand. Please proceed with the immediate cancellation. Very well. I'll process this right away and coordinate with the Cancun property. You'll receive email confirmation within the hour. Is there anything else I can assist you with today? Just one thing, I said. I'd like to be notified when my family is informed of the cancellation. I'll make a note for the property manager to contact you after they've spoken with the guests. Is there a specific number where you can be reached? I provided my cell phone number, and with that, the deed was done. My $12,000 membership was canceled, and my family's luxury vacation was about to come to an abrupt end. After hanging up, I felt a mixture of anxiety and vindication. I'd never stood up to my family like this before. Usually, I just gave in to keep the peace, writing off whatever they'd taken as the price of maintaining family harmony. But this was too much, too deliberate, too entitled. Still, I worried about the fallout. Would my mother cry? Would my father yell? Would Brittany post nasty things about me on social media? Probably all of the above. I called Dr. Eleanor and scheduled an emergency session for that afternoon. You've taken a significant step in establishing boundaries, she told me during our session. It's normal to feel anxious about the consequences, but remember that you're not responsible for their reactions. They made choices that led to this situation. But what if they show up at my apartment angry? My father can have a temper. Do you feel physically unsafe? No, not unsafe exactly. Just I've never dealt with their disappointment well. I always cave. Then let's role-play some responses so you're prepared. And consider staying with a friend for a few days if you're concerned about them showing up unannounced. After my therapy session, I called my building's security desk and asked them not to allow my family up without calling me first. I also texted Samantha, who immediately offered her spare bedroom if I needed a place to stay. Then I waited. The call from Cancun came at 4:37 p.m. Chicago time. It was Marcus Trent, MS. Wilson, I wanted to inform you as requested that we have notified your family about the membership cancellation. How did they react? I couldn't help asking. Initially with disbelief. They insisted there must be some mistake. When our staff explained that the cancellation came directly from the membership holder, they became upset. Your father demanded to speak with management, which is when I became involved. I explained the situation as diplomatically as possible. Did they leave? Not initially. They requested time to make alternative arrangements. As a courtesy, we've given them until 11 a.m. tomorrow to either convert to our standard rate or check out. Security will be monitoring the situation to ensure a smooth transition. I thanked him for the update and hung up. Within minutes, my phone exploded with notifications. First came the angry call from my father. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" he shouted without preamble. "Do you have any idea how humiliating this is?" About as humiliating as discovering my family stole my membership and has been charging thousands of dollars to my account, I replied, surprised by my own calm. "We didn't steal anything. We're family. What's yours is ours. That's how family works." "No, Dad, that's not how family works. That's how taking advantage works. After everything we've done for you, this is how you repay us? By embarrassing us in front of everyone at this fancy resort. What exactly have you done for me lately? I've been financially independent since I was 18. I've helped you and Mom with bills countless times. I sent you $1,000 just 3 weeks ago for a furnace repair that I'm guessing never happened. We needed that money for airfare. The furnace is fine. Don't change the subject. You fix this right now, Miranda. Call the resort back and tell them it was a mistake." "It wasn't a mistake. You took my membership card without permission. You charged thousands to my account without asking. You upgraded rooms without authorization. This stops now." I hung up as he was still yelling. Next came the barrage of texts from Brittany. "OMG, I can't believe you did this to us. We're literally being kicked out of paradise because of you. You're just jealous that I'm living my best life and you're stuck in freezing Chicago working all the time. Mom is crying because of you. Are you happy now? You are the worst sister ever. I'm telling everyone what you did." I muted the conversation without responding. Then came the voicemail from my mother, her voice tearful and wavering. "Miranda, honey, please call the resort back. We're so embarrassed. Everyone is staring at us. The security guards came to our room. What will people think? We were just trying to have a nice family vacation. You know we could never afford a place like this on our own. Please, sweetie. Do it for me." I deleted the voicemail without calling back. Dr. Eleanor's words echoed in my mind. You're not responsible for their reactions. They made choices that led to this situation. Throughout the evening, the texts and calls continued. My father's messages grew increasingly angry, then shifted to guilt-tripping. My mother left 3 more tearful voicemails. Brittany posted a vague Instagram story about toxic family members who can't stand to see others happy. At 8 p.m., I received another call from Marcus Trent in Cancun. "Ms. Wilson, I wanted to update you on the situation. Your family attempted to resolve the matter by offering to pay with a different credit card, but it was declined due to insufficient funds. They then attempted to negotiate a discounted rate, claiming they had been misled about the cost of the accommodations. What happened then? When that was unsuccessful, they apparently attempted to offer one of our front desk staff a personal gratuity to override the system and reinstate the membership rate. They tried to bribe your staff? I was mortified. We prefer to call it an inappropriate gratuity offer," Marcus said diplomatically. Our staff member declined, of course, and reported the incident to management. At that point, I made the decision that it would be best for them to vacate the property immediately rather than waiting until tomorrow morning. So they've left. Yes, they were escorted off the property by our security team about 30 minutes ago. I wanted to assure you that the matter was handled discreetly, though I understand this must be a difficult family situation for you. After thanking Marcus again, I turned off my phone completely. I'd said what I needed to say, done what I needed to do. The rest was up to them. I didn't hear anything from my family for 2 days. I assumed they were traveling back from Cancun, probably flying standby or scrambling to find affordable last-minute flights. I kept my phone off most of the time, only checking it occasionally to respond to work emails and texts from friends. On the third day, Saturday morning, my building's security desk called. Ms. Wilson, your parents and sister are here asking to come up. Should I send them up or turn them away? I took a deep breath. I'll come down to the lobby. When the elevator doors opened, I saw them immediately. They looked terrible. My father's face was sunburned and set in a scowl. My mother's eyes were puffy from crying. Brittany was furiously typing on her phone, probably documenting this latest drama for social media. What were you thinking? My father started shouting the moment he saw me. Do you have any idea what you put us through? Robert, not in public, my mother hissed, looking around the lobby where several of my neighbors were witnessing the scene. Let's talk somewhere else, I said calmly. We're coming up to your apartment, my father insisted. No, you're not. We can go to the cafe across the street. Fine, he spat. But you're paying. Donna and Thomas Miller, an older couple from my floor, gave me sympathetic looks as we walked out. They had clearly heard enough to understand this wasn't a happy family reunion. The cafe was relatively empty, and we found a table in the corner away from other patrons. A server came by, and I ordered a black coffee. My parents and Brittany ordered elaborate breakfast platters and fresh juices, pointedly looking at me as if daring me to object to paying for their meals. Once the server left, my father leaned forward. You need to make this right, Miranda. Do you know what it cost us to book last-minute flights home? Do you know how humiliating it was to be escorted out by security like criminals? Do you know how betrayed I felt discovering that my family had stolen my membership card and charged thousands of dollars to my account? I countered. We were going to pay you back, my mother said, though we all knew that was a lie. With what money, Mom? You just told me 3 weeks ago that you were broke and needed money for the furnace. We deserved a vacation, Brittany chimed in. Dad's been working so hard and Mom's been stressed, and I needed a break from job hunting. So take a vacation you can afford, I said. Don't steal mine. We didn't steal anything, my father insisted. We borrowed your membership. That's what family does. No, you ask permission before using someone else's things. That's what respectful people do. Oh, now you're saying we don't respect you? My father's voice rose again. Your actions made that pretty clear. The server returned with our drinks, and there was a moment of tense silence. I think you're just jealous, Brittany said after the server left. You're jealous that we were having fun while you were stuck working. You couldn't stand to see us happy. Brittany, I work 60 hours a week to afford things like that resort membership. I earned it. You've never worked more than 20 hours a week at any job, and you quit the moment it gets difficult. So no, I'm not jealous of you. I'm angry that you think you're entitled to the fruits of my labor. After everything we sacrificed for you, my mother began, tears welling in her eyes again. We gave you everything we could. Really? Because I remember buying my own school supplies from age 12. I remember working at 16 to help with utility bills. I remember paying my own college tuition while you somehow found money for Brittany's semester abroad. That was different, my mother protested. Brittany needed the experience for her development. And I didn't? The difference is that I found ways to create opportunities for myself instead of expecting others to provide them for me. We were just getting started on our vacation, my father said. We had plans for the next 2 weeks. Excursions we'd booked, reservations at restaurants. All using my membership, all charged to my account, all without my permission, I pointed out. You're being selfish, Brittany accused. You have plenty of money. You wouldn't even notice the charges. That's not the point. The point is that you took something that wasn't yours without asking because you felt entitled to it. The food arrived, and my family fell silent as they began eating. I sipped my coffee and gathered my thoughts. What you did was financial abuse, I finally said. You've been taking advantage of me financially for years, and I've allowed it because I wanted to help. But taking my membership card, charging thousands to my account, and then acting like I'm the villain for objecting, that crosses a line. Financial abuse? My father scoffed. Don't be dramatic. It's not dramatic. It's accurate. You use guilt and obligation to extract money and resources from me. You prioritize your wants and Brittany's wants over my boundaries. That's the textbook definition of financial abuse. We're your parents, my mother said. You owe us. I owe you respect and love, not my bank account. And respect goes both ways. So what now? My father demanded. You've made your point. Are you going to hold this over our heads forever? I'm going to establish clear boundaries. No more taking things without asking. No more financial emergencies that mysteriously coincide with Brittany wanting something expensive. No more guilt trips when I say no. And if we don't agree to your boundaries, my father made air quotes around the word, then we'll have a very limited relationship going forward. I stood up, placed enough cash on the table to cover all their meals plus a generous tip, and looked at them each in turn. I love you all, but I don't trust you right now. I need time and space to decide what kind of relationship I want to have with people who would betray my trust this way. I walked out of the cafe before they could respond, before I could see my mother's tears or Brittany's anger or my father's indignation. For the first time in my life, I had stood my ground with them, and it felt both terrible and liberating. For the next week, my family gave me the silent treatment. No calls, no texts, no social media posts tagging or mentioning me. It was exactly what I needed, though I knew it wasn't intended as a kindness, but as a punishment. They expected me to break, to call and apologize, to offer to reinstate the membership or give them money to make up for what I'd done. I didn't. Instead, I spent time with friends who supported my decision. Samantha came over with wine and take out the night after the cafe confrontation. I'm proud of you, she said, pouring generous glasses of Merlot for both of us. I know how hard that must have been. I feel guilty, I admitted. Like I'm a bad daughter. You're not a bad daughter. You're a daughter who finally recognized that being good to your family doesn't mean letting them take advantage of you. My friend Rebecca, who had gone through a similar situation with her brother, sent me supportive texts daily. The guilt fades, she assured me. The freedom lasts. Still, doubts crept in. Had I overreacted? Should I have just authorized the stay retroactively and then had a calm discussion about boundaries? Was having them escorted out by security too harsh? I scheduled another appointment with Dr. Eleanor to work through these feelings. What you're experiencing is the discomfort of changing established patterns, she explained. For years, your role has been to give in, to sacrifice, to be the responsible one who fixes everything. Changing that dynamic feels wrong because it's unfamiliar, not because it actually is wrong. But having security escort them out was the natural consequence of their actions, not your choice. You didn't call security on them. You simply stopped enabling their behavior, and the resort enforced its own policies. I also met with Ethan, my financial advisor, to review my finances and see exactly how much money I had saved by canceling the membership. Between the prorated refund of your annual fee and the charges you've disputed with your credit card company, you're looking at saving about $14,000, he calculated, plus whatever they would have spent in the remaining 11 days of their planned stay. When you put it that way, it seems even more outrageous, I said. They were planning to spend more on this vacation than they contribute to Brittany's apartment in an entire year. Financial decisions reveal priorities, Ethan said simply. Their priority was luxury at your expense. By the end of the week, the silent treatment evolved into what Dr. Eleanor called the flying monkeys phase. Suddenly, extended family members began calling and texting. My Uncle Gary, my father's brother, called first. Don't you think you're being a bit harsh on your parents, Miranda? They've supported you your whole life. Did my father ask you to call me? I asked directly. Well, he mentioned there was some trouble, and I thought I'd check in. Did he tell you they took my resort membership without permission and charged thousands to my account? He said there was a misunderstanding about a vacation. After setting Uncle Gary straight, I received similar calls from my mother's cousin Carol, my father's golf buddy Frank, and even my grandmother, all with suspiciously similar talking points about family obligation and forgiveness. Then came the emails. Relatives I barely spoke to suddenly had opinions about my relationship with my parents. Most took their side, assuming I was the unreasonable one because that had always been the narrative. Miranda is cold. Miranda is too focused on money. Miranda doesn't understand family. Through it all, I maintained my position. I was polite but firm, explaining the situation truthfully when asked, and declining to engage with emotional manipulation. During this time, I continued my sessions with Dr. Eleanor, working through the complex emotions that came with establishing boundaries with my family for the first time. Setting boundaries isn't just about saying no to others, she explained. It's about saying yes to yourself, to your own needs and values. I think I've always felt that having needs was selfish, I admitted. That's a common belief in people who've been parentified or made responsible for others' emotions from a young age. But having needs isn't selfish. It's human. And meeting your own needs isn't selfish either. It's necessary. With this new perspective, I began planning something I'd never allowed myself before, a vacation focused entirely on what I wanted. Not what would accommodate my family's preferences or schedule, not what would be the most economical, but simply what would bring me joy. I researched small, boutique hotels in Greece, a destination I'd always wanted to visit but had put off because my parents didn't like the idea of me traveling so far alone. During this period, I also reconnected with my cousin Michelle, my mother's niece who had become estranged from the family years ago for reasons no one discussed. She reached out via LinkedIn after hearing about the resort incident from her mother, my Aunt Virginia. I just wanted to say I understand what you're going through, her message read. I went through something similar with them years ago. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. We met for coffee, and she shared her own story of setting boundaries with the family after they had taken advantage of her financially when she received an inheritance from her father's side of the family. They didn't speak to me for almost a year, she said. Then when they realized I wasn't going to cave, they slowly started acting like nothing had happened. No apology, no acknowledgement, just business as usual. I had to decide if I could accept that or if I needed more. What did you decide? I asked. I decided to have a relationship with them, but a limited one with clear boundaries. I see them at major holidays. I send birthday cards. But I don't discuss money with them. I don't lend them anything, and I don't expect deep emotional connection. It's sad, but it's better than constantly being hurt by them. 2 weeks after the confrontation at the cafe, my father called. His voice was subdued, lacking the anger of our previous conversation. Your mother and I have been talking, he began. We want to apologize for taking your membership card without asking. We should have talked to you first. It was a start, though notably, he was only apologizing for not asking, not for the act itself or the financial burden they'd tried to place on me. Thank you for acknowledging that, I said carefully. We'd like to get together this weekend. Maybe for dinner at our place? Brittany will be there too. We can talk things through as a family. I agreed to Sunday dinner, both hopeful and wary. My mother left a voicemail the next day, her voice tearful but controlled. We miss you, sweetheart. We're sorry things got so out of hand. We never meant to hurt you. Again, not quite a full apology, but at least an acknowledgement of my feelings. Brittany texted simply, coming to dinner Sunday? Mom's making your favorite lasagna. No apology, no acknowledgement, just an attempt to return to normal as if nothing had happened. I went to the dinner with clear expectations, having rehearsed with Dr. Eleanor what I would and wouldn't accept in terms of an apology and how I would respond to various scenarios. I was prepared for manipulation, defensiveness, or false contrition. What I wasn't prepared for was their actual response. Sunday dinner began awkwardly. My mother had indeed made my favorite lasagna, along with garlic bread and a Caesar salad. Brittany was quieter than usual, scrolling through her phone at the table until my father asked her to put it away. After we'd filled our plates, my father cleared his throat. "Miranda, we want to apologize for what happened. We shouldn't have taken your membership card without asking. It was wrong. And charging all those expenses to my account." I prompted. "That too," he admitted reluctantly. We got carried away. The resort was so nice, and it was easy to just keep signing charges to the room. "We never intended for it to get so out of hand," my mother added. "We were going to find a way to pay you back." I raised an eyebrow skeptically but let it pass. "The thing is," my father continued, "we've always seen your success as something we all contributed to. Your mother and I made sacrifices for your education, your future. So when you achieve something, we feel like we should get to share in it." "I understand that perspective," I said carefully. "But from my perspective, I've been financially independent since I was 18. I put myself through college with scholarships and working part-time jobs. I've helped with family expenses many times over the years. So when I finally allowed myself one luxury, having it taken without permission felt like a betrayal." "We see that now," my mother said, though I wasn't entirely convinced she did. "We got caught up in the excitement of experiencing something we could never afford on our own. I think we need to establish some new ground rules for our relationship going forward," I suggested. "And I think it might help to have a neutral third party facilitate that conversation." "What? Like a mediator?" My father frowned. "Like a family therapist," I clarified. "Someone who can help us communicate better and establish healthy boundaries." To my surprise, my mother nodded. "I think that's a good idea. This situation has been hard on all of us." My father was more reluctant. "I don't see why we need to pay some stranger to help us talk to each other. We're family." "That's exactly why we need help," I explained. "Because the patterns are so ingrained that we can't see them clearly ourselves." Brittany, who had been silent until now, suddenly spoke up. "I'll go if everyone else is going. But I don't think I did anything wrong. I was just along for the ride." "You posted about our premium membership on social media," I pointed out. "You knew it wasn't yours or mom and dad's." She shrugged. "I didn't think it was a big deal. You're always so uptight about money." "Being responsible with money isn't the same as being uptight about it," I countered. "And respecting others' property isn't uptight either." After some more discussion, my parents agreed to family therapy, though my father made it clear he was only doing it to appease me and my mother. I offered to find a therapist who specialized in family dynamics and financial issues and to cover the cost of the sessions, at least initially. The following week, we had our first appointment with Dr. Lawrence, a family therapist with experience in financial conflicts. The office was neutral and calming, with comfortable seating arranged in a circle. "I'd like to start by hearing from each of you about what brings you here today," Dr. Lawrence began. "From your perspective, what happened, and what would you like to achieve through our sessions together?" My father went first, presenting a sanitized version of events that minimized the deception involved. "We used Miranda's resort membership without specifically asking first, and she got upset and canceled it while we were there. We want to move past this and get back to being a normal family." My mother's version acknowledged more wrongdoing, but still included justifications. "We should have asked Miranda first, but we didn't think she'd mind since she's always helping us out. We just wanted a nice family vacation. I want us to understand each other better and rebuild trust." Brittany was blunt. "Miranda overreacted to mom and dad using her membership. She embarrassed us in front of everyone at this fancy resort because she's weird about money. I want her to stop being so controlling and judgmental." When my turn came, I took a deep breath. My family took my membership card without permission, charged thousands of dollars to my account, and then acted entitled to it when confronted. I canceled the membership to establish a boundary that was being violated. I want us to develop a healthier relationship where my boundaries are respected and where financial support is requested, not assumed or taken. Dr. Lawrence nodded. "I'm hearing some common themes here, but also some significant differences in perspective. Over our next few sessions, We'll explore these differences and work toward establishing new patterns of communication and behavior that work better for all of you. By the end of the first session, Dr. Lawrence had assigned us homework. Each of us was to write our own family financial history, documenting our earliest memories of money in the family, times we felt financially secure or insecure, and our beliefs about financial responsibility within families. This exercise revealed profound differences in our perspectives. My parents genuinely believed they had made enormous sacrifices for my education and future, while I remembered being largely self-sufficient from a young age. They saw my financial success as partially theirs because they had raised me right, while I saw it as the result of my own hard work despite limited support. In our third session, Dr. Lawrence introduced the concept of financial boundaries. Financial boundaries are just as important as physical or emotional boundaries, she explained. They involve being clear about what you will and won't do with your money, what you expect from others regarding your finances, and how financial decisions are made within relationships. But families share resources. My father objected. That's just how it works. Families can share resources, Dr. Lawrence corrected. But healthy sharing involves consent, communication, and mutual respect, not taking or assuming. At my suggestion, my parents also met with Brandon Cooper, a financial advisor colleague of mine, who specialized in helping people in their age bracket create sustainable financial plans. They need to understand their own financial reality, I explained to Brandon before their first meeting. They've been living beyond their means for years, using my support as a safety net, and it's not sustainable for any of us. Brandon reported back that the initial meeting was challenging. My parents were resistant to examining their spending habits and reluctant to create a budget. But by the third meeting, they were beginning to engage with the process. Your father admitted they've been using credit cards to maintain a lifestyle they can't afford, Brandon told me. They have over $30,000 in credit card debt, not including their mortgage and car payments. That explains why they're always having emergencies, I sighed. We're working on a debt reduction plan and a realistic budget. It will require significant lifestyle changes, but it's doable if they commit to it. The most surprising transformation, however, came from Brittany. After several family therapy sessions, she approached me privately. I've been thinking about what Dr. Lawrence said about earning versus expecting, she said. And I realized I've never really earned anything significant in my life. Everything's been given to me or paid for by someone else. That's a big realization, I acknowledged, trying not to show my shock at her self-awareness. Yeah, well, I didn't like hearing it, but it's true. Anyway, I was wondering if you could help me find a job. Like, a real job, not just something part-time until I get bored. I connected Brittany with my colleague Julia, who worked in HR at a marketing firm that was hiring entry-level coordinators. To my surprise, Brittany not only secured an interview but actually got the job and, more impressively, kept it. It's kind of cool getting a paycheck for work I actually did, she told me over coffee a month into her new job. And people at the office respect me because of my ideas, not because of how I look or who my friends are. That's what earning your way feels like, I said, feeling a newfound respect for my sister. I get why you were so mad about the resort thing now, she admitted. I wouldn't want someone taking something I worked hard for either. It wasn't a direct apology, but coming from Brittany, it was significant progress. 6 months after the resort incident, I finally took my long-awaited vacation. Not to Serenity Shores, but to a small boutique hotel on the Greek island of Santorini. I spent mornings reading on my private terrace overlooking the caldera, afternoons exploring the winding streets of Oahe, and evenings enjoying leisurely dinners at local tavernas. On my third day there, I FaceTimed with Samantha to show her the breathtaking sunset view from my hotel. It's absolutely gorgeous, she said. And you look so relaxed. I haven't seen you this at ease in years. I feel different, I admitted. Lighter somehow. That's what happens when you stop carrying everyone else's financial and emotional baggage. After we hung up, I reflected on how much had changed in 6 months. Through weekly family therapy sessions, my parents and I had established clearer boundaries and expectations. They no longer called with emergencies that were actually discretionary expenses. They had created a budget with Brandon's help and were slowly paying down their debt. Most surprisingly, they had started taking responsibility for their own financial decisions instead of expecting me to bail them out. Just last month, when their refrigerator died, instead of calling me for money, they had used their newly established emergency fund to cover the repair. My phone rang, displaying my mother's number. Despite being on vacation, I answered. Mom.
So,
Is this a good time? I don't want to interrupt your vacation. This simple acknowledgement that my time and experience mattered was a small but significant change from before. It's fine. I just finished dinner, and I'm enjoying the view from my hotel. It looks beautiful from the photos you sent. Listen, I just wanted to check if we're still on for dinner next Sunday when you're back. Your father's grilling steaks. Yes, I'll be there. My flight gets in Saturday afternoon, so Sunday is perfect. Wonderful. Oh, and Brittany has some exciting news about a promotion at work. She wants to tell everyone in person. That's great. Tell her I'm proud of her. I will. Enjoy the rest of your trip, honey. We love you. After we hung up, I marveled at how normal and pleasant the conversation had been. No guilt trips, no financial requests, just a mother checking in with her daughter. It wasn't perfect, and I knew we still had work to do, but it was progress. The resort incident, painful as it had been, had ultimately been the catalyst for necessary change in our family dynamics. Through therapy, open communication, and consistent boundaries, we were building healthier relationships based on mutual respect rather than financial dependency. When I returned to Chicago, I had dinner with my family as planned. My father grilled steaks, my mother made her famous potato salad, and Brittany brought a bottle of wine she'd purchased with her own money, proudly announcing that she'd received a promotion to junior marketing coordinator after just 6 months on the job. The best part is I earned it completely on my own, she said. My boss had no idea we were related until after she decided to promote me. That's an amazing feeling, isn't it? I said. Knowing you earned something through your own merit and hard work. It really is. I get why you've always been so focused on being independent. There's a satisfaction in it that I never understood before. My father, who had been quieter than usual, suddenly spoke up. We're proud of both of you girls. And Miranda, I owe you a proper apology. What we did with your resort membership was wrong. We took advantage of your success instead of celebrating it, and that wasn't fair to you. We got caught up in wanting things we hadn't earned, my mother added. Dr. Lawrence helped us see that we were trying to claim your achievements as our own instead of doing the work to create our own financial stability. We're making progress with that budget Brandon helped us create, my father continued. It's not easy, and we've had to make some tough choices, but it feels good to be taking control of our finances at last. And we're planning a vacation, my mother said with excitement. A modest one within our budget. A week at a lake house in Michigan next summer. That sounds wonderful, I said sincerely. We'd love for you to join us, my father added. As our guest, not our bank. I laughed at his self-deprecating joke, a sign that he truly was beginning to recognize the old patterns. I'd like that, I said. A real family vacation where everyone contributes what they can and respects each other's boundaries. Speaking of contributions, Brittany interjected, I've been thinking about next Christmas. Instead of exchanging gifts, what if we all put money toward a family experience? Each of us contributes what we can afford, and we do something meaningful together. That's a great idea, I said, genuinely impressed by my sister's thoughtfulness. As we finished dinner and moved to the living room for coffee and dessert, I reflected on how far we'd come. The journey hadn't been easy, and there had been painful moments of truth and confrontation along the way. But the result was a healthier, more honest relationship with my family based on mutual respect rather than financial dependency and entitlement. The resort incident, which had felt like such a betrayal at the time, had ultimately been the catalyst for positive change. By standing up for myself and refusing to enable harmful patterns, I had helped create space for a new kind of family dynamic to emerge, one where each of us took responsibility for our own choices and respected each other's boundaries. As my mother brought out her homemade apple pie, my father raised his coffee cup in a toast. To new beginnings, he said. and to learning that family means supporting each other's growth, not taking advantage of each other's success. We all raised our cups to that. What would you have done in Miranda's situation? Would you have canceled the resort membership immediately, or tried a different approach? Have you ever had to set difficult boundaries with family members who took advantage of you financially? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if Miranda's story resonated with you, subscribe for more real-life drama stories, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thank you for watching, and remember, healthy relationships require both love and boundaries.